Tonight, hundreds forced to flee as a suspicious blaze tears through a Sydney restaurant.
A Newcastle man charged with repeatedly stabbing his brother.
And taking the reins, Barnaby Joyce becomes acting Prime Minister as Malcolm Turnbull tours China.
Well, I'm going to see if I can cancel Malcolm's visa so he stays over there for a little while.
This is NBN News with Paddy Kilmurray and Natasha Beyersdorf.
Good evening. Residents of a Sydney apartment block say they could have been killed as fire tore through a ground floor restaurant. Tenants claim the building's alarms failed to go off, and it's the very same property where a student leapt to her death during a blaze almost 4 years ago.
Fire engulfs a Bankstown restaurant.
It's been talked about for months, but today popular ride-sharing service Uber finally launched in Newcastle and the Central Coast. The move could rock the local taxi industry, with Uber promising cheaper fares and shorter waiting times.
Uber's first passenger in Newcastle hitching a ride with its first driver.
And still to come in the news tonight, worrying flyby. Russian jets target a US warship.
An Australian man is among 12 people dead after a light plane crashed into a swamp in a remote area of Papua New Guinea. 31-year-old Benjamin Pickard from Sydney was flying the aircraft. It's thought the engine failed and the plane came in short of the runway.
Lebanese authorities have shown the first signs they're willing to come to a compromise in the case of an Australian woman and a 60 Minutes crew detained in Beirut. Sally Faulkner has been urged to cut a deal in her custody dispute, which could have positive ramifications for the team that was documenting her story.
Inside a grim Lebanese courthouse came the first signs of hope for 5 detained Australians.
And reporter Tom Steinford is in Beirut tonight. A short time ago, he filed this report on how the 60 Minutes crew is holding up.
Well, the 60 Minutes crew members say they are being well treated by the Lebanese authorities here, and they are being visited daily by our Director of News, Darren Wick. They've told him that their biggest worry is actually how their families back home are coping with this news. They say they have been overwhelmed by the amount of support messages that they have received whilst in custody. Tara Brown in particular said she'd actually been contacted by someone that she did a story on 15 years ago who was saying that they want her to get out as soon as possible. And our own CEO, Hugh Marks, has just sent an email to all staff members reiterating that the network is doing everything it possibly can to get the 60 Minutes crew back to Australia safely as soon as possible.
Coming up, how new technology has helped a person with paralysis to move again.
And the motorway merge that almost became a major accident.
Super termites.
Oh God, oh my God.
Now undetected by experts. Who's at fault and who should pay? A current affair tonight.
5 men have survived a cold and frightening ordeal in the sea off South Australia's Kangaroo Island after their boat was flipped by a freak wave. They managed to cling to the hull, fire a flare and activate their emergency beacon.
Thank God for Orion and everyone else that came to help us.
The men were checked for hypothermia, then allowed to head home.
Australia's jobs market has sprung back to life, with unemployment hitting a 2.5-year low. Official figures out today reveal the jobless rate fell to 5.7% in March. The total number of people with jobs rose by 26,000 to 11.9 million, the highest level on record. But that growth was entirely in part-time employment. Full-time dipped by close to 9,000.
Meanwhile, strong gains by the big miners and banks pushed the share market higher for a third straight session. Rio Tinto lifted $1.22, while rival BHP Billiton added 95 cents. Whitehaven Coal made gains. It's betting on rising Asian demand for higher quality coal as it ramps up production despite weaker prices. In the banking sector, the Commonwealth rose 98 cents to commodities, and both gold and oil are trading lower. And the Australian dollar is buying 76.44 US cents and 83 yen.
Now to Gavin Morris for a quick look at the weather. And Gav, what's in store for our weekend?
Well, it looks like it's going to get off to a fairly good start. We've seen coastal showers, plenty of them along the northern New South Wales coast and earlier in the week throughout southeast Queensland. They're going to break up further and further. So let's take a look at the synoptic chart over the next couple of days. We've seen some cloud there make its way across central Australia. Relatively clear now over New South Wales and southeast Queensland. The cloud cover's been breaking up. You can see that high bulging out, so it's going to be a fine Friday and Saturday looking very nice as well as most of the showers begin to clear. But then on Sunday, the next southerly change is going to come through, and you can see there's going to be some rain in this, particularly for the Greater Hunter, and it'll return to the coast. And the inland areas will get a little taste of that in the early part of next week, but sadly not big numbers across the northwest. But a closer look at all of your local details soon.
Thanks, Gav. Coming up, welcome to the jungle. Will and Kate go on safari in India.
And the moment a roof collapse sent a wall of water through a school.
Two ex-girlfriends, a hitman and an alleged execution-style killing. Today, the man accused murdering Raymond Pasnen in Sydney in 2013 gave his version of events that led to the fatal shooting. Daniel Hale claims he was acting in self-defence after a drug deal went wrong.
I'm really disappointed about that.
Will we?
Over to sport now with Mitchell Hughes.
Mitch, a massive test for Sally Pearson today.
Yeah, it was literally a hurdle. Thanks, team. The London gold medalist has attempted her first Olympic hurdle since injury. Find out how she went next. And also ahead, basketball great Kobe Bryant's stunning superstar farewell. It's 113 days until the opening ceremony of the Rio Olympics, and one of our great hopes for gold has taken an important step in her recovery from injury. Sally Pearson hadn't jumped a race-sized hurdle since shattering her wrist last year. Today she attempted it for the first time.
She won gold in London, but Sally Pearson has faced no bigger hurdle than recovering from an injury which threatened to end her career.
Kieran Foran will be the centre of attention at Brookvale tonight when he returns for the first time since walking out on the Sea Eagles. NBN's coverage of the Eels-Manly clash begins at 7:30. Meanwhile, with calls mounting for an overhaul of the New South Wales Origin team, most players are trying their best to convince Laurie Daly they're worthy. But not Blake Ferguson, who today declared he's not ready to return. Lake Macquarie sailors Nathan Outteridge and Ian Jensen have moved up to second, heading into the business end of their 49er European Championships. World title holders Peter Burling and Blair Tuke from New Zealand sit 24 points ahead of the defending Olympic gold medalists. Team, that's our look at sport.
Thank you, Mitch.
Thanks, Mitch.
Next up, Gavin Morris joins us with the weather.
Tonight's weather report brought to you by the all-new Can-Am Defender. Tough, capable, clever.
Time now to check the weather with Gav. And Gav, it's looking fine for the weekend.
Yes, it is. The start is going to be brilliant, but another southerly change is closing in to kickstart the brand new week. Thanks, Paddy. First of all, to Shane Williams' photo here. It's an impressive-looking shelf cloud over Stockton Bridge from the storms that have moved through over the last couple of days and the heavy showers at times, but it's all clearing just in time for your Friday and Saturday. The rain has been focused along the New South Wales northern coast of 1 to 15, couple of 20 millimetres recorded there. But the heavier falls have been up throughout that tropical coast. Big numbers, but nothing inland. The interior, again, dry, scattered cloud, all breaking up as it tracks across central Australia. That is the cloud cover that produced the heavy rain over northern Queensland yesterday. And you can see it's diving a little further southward, that system passing over the southeast. And here comes yet again another front making its way towards the southeast. And that is going to increase those winds and chill things down for the weekend for Tasmania, but it's going to warm things up for us. There's that rain spilling in across the northern tropics of Queensland, but still all clear. These blocking highs, one after the other, moving in across the Great Southern Ocean there, and that is still negating anything from moving in across the interior. So it's really going to warm up again right across the southeast. There's Hobart, light showers on the way as that system moves in over Tasmania. For Sydney, 25 tomorrow, all fine. The risk of a shower small, but there for Brisbane. The Alice looking pretty good, and a shower possible for Darwin. On the radar this evening, it's pretty much all gone now. We had a few showers there still spilling in around Seal Rocks for holiday makers during the school holidays, but otherwise it's all fine. No echoes at the moment. Temperatures reached today, low to mid-20s, 27 the top there for Scone, topping the list. Looking at conditions at Nobbies seconds ago, humidity 75%, pressure down slightly, and the winds out of the east. The northerlies, the northwesterlies throughout tomorrow. That's going to warm things up yet again, and a sea breeze is going to build, drawing in throughout tomorrow. And we're not going to see any rain. The shower activity is leaving us for the next couple of days until Sunday, I would say. So all fine and dry across the region. Temperatures a little bit warmer throughout tomorrow, especially in away from the sea breeze. It'll be offshore first thing in the morning and then switching around the afternoon. Temperatures mid to high 20s mostly throughout the suburbs. The lake area, Port Stephens will be nice and warm, and the valley into the high 20s after a coolish start, and some morning fog patches certainly possible as well. A little bit of mist here and there because it's going to be quite calm. Looking at season swell at about a metre and a half throughout tomorrow. It's all fairly light on, benign stuff out there at the moment with no warnings that have been issued. You've got a low tide, 9:42, the high there at 4, sun's up, 6:13, down at about 5:32, and a lovely moon phase for the up and coming weekend as well. Fine start, there's the southerly coming through, bringing with it rain, and it's going to ramp up a little bit there Sunday into Monday of next week, lingering into Tuesday, and we'll have a little bit spill across the valley. We may see some storm action as well, so a little bit of teasing rain on the way for what is a very dry valley. Some solid falls there likely for the Central Coast from Sunday. Surfers, couple of feet pushing on through, not too bad at times, but the winds, it was light this morning, then it really kicked in around lunchtime, and then those afternoon onshore winds out of the east-southeast brought with it some lumps and bumps. Tomorrow morning's session is going to be clean, I would say. The bank quality has deteriorated somewhat, but hopefully the swell and the winds will make up for that in the morning. Facebook, log on, like our page for daily updates. So fining up as we move towards the weekend for just about the entire region.
Look forward to it. Thanks, Gav. And that's our news for this evening.
Don't forget, our coverage of the Eels-Manly clash kicks off straight after a current affair.
From all of us here for now, good night.